In our last video, we were in Lake City, Florida. We strolled the streets of the historic downtown, admiring a lot of the original buildings and even some of the government buildings. It was great to see the restoration of this hotel and that some of the older buildings were still in use. We happenstanced upon some kind of local festival and enjoyed a beer at an awesome downtown brewery. In this video,
we're in Tallahassee, Florida.
we visited Tallahassee in mid-February of 2025. Tallahassee, of course, is the capital city of Florida, so we decided to start our journey at the governor's mansion, which, as you can see from the video, actually isn't very easy to see from the street. This is about the best I could do for you.
While we couldn't see it up close, you can do 30-minute free public tours on Tuesdays and Wednesdays between 10 a.m. and noon. You do have to make an appointment to do that. The original governor's mansion was built in 1907. The one that stands today was built in 1955, and it is known as the People's House.
Since viewing the mansion was a bust, we decided to head to the heart of the government district.
The original First Baptist Church on this site was built in 1858. The structure you see here was built in 1915. During the Civil War, the church served as a hospital and army barracks. The gray and black building here is the Governor's Inn. Originally, it was a horse-drawn carriage and wagon shop back in the 1800s. It opened as a hotel in 1983, and the rooms in there were named for former governors. It closed in 2021 for renovations. It was supposed to reopen in 2022, but according to their website, it remains closed as of this video.
Of course, this is subjective, but in my opinion, this was hands down the coolest block that we visited in the downtown area.
This cannon was recovered from the Rio Mar shipwreck site near Vero Beach. The ship was part of a Spanish fleet that was struck by a hurricane in 1715 off the east coast of Florida.
Now it was time to check out one of the most famous landmarks, the historic Capitol.
So Tallahassee was selected as the capital of the Florida Territory in 1824 because it sat halfway between St. Augustine and Pensacola. Originally built in 1845 with the dome added in 1902, this was the state capital until the 1970s when the new building was built. It is now home to the Florida Historic Capitol Museum. And this building is the Supreme Court of Florida, which moved to this location in 1949.
And as you can see at the time of our visit, there was a lot of construction being done in this area.
Here we're entering Kleeman Plaza, which has a science center, an IMAX theater, some restaurants, and apartments.
It's also home to a fantastic coffee shop. And with that said, it's time for an update. All right, today we are in Tallahassee, Florida, which is of course the capital of Florida. It's also the home of Florida State University, which is behind us here, and then the Capitol is pretty much virtually in front of us, and the downtown seems to be kind of integrated within it all. So it's our first time here. It's a mid-February day, the 15th, I believe. A little overcast, but that should make for actually good pictures and videos, so come along with us.
So a little info about Tallahassee. The city itself was incorporated in 1825. The word Tallahassee is a Native American word meaning old fields or old town. The current population is about 200,000.
So at this point in our explorations, we're making our way toward the heart of the Florida State University.
Florida State University was chartered in 1851 and first opened in 1857. FSU is Florida's oldest continuous site of higher education. FSU originally opened as a seminary, and Francis Epps, who was the grandson of Thomas Jefferson, served as the president for the first 8 years. It changed its name to Florida State College in 1901, and after several other name changes, became FSU in 1947. It currently has about 44,000 students. Of note, Florida State University is home to Florida's only national laboratory, the National High Magnetic Field Laboratory.
With that said, looks like it's time for another update.
So if you've watched our channel, you know that we focus on downtown. Now, you can't really separate Florida State University from the downtown, you just run into it, but we don't want to turn this into a campus tour. So we're going to give you a little overview, but otherwise we're going to jump back and try to find some more of the downtown buildings.
At this point, we decided to check out a basketball game. We saw FSU take on Clemson.
So this was really interesting. Prince Murat, who was the nephew of Napoleon and son of General Murat, King of Naples, settled in Florida in 1825 and eventually married Catherine Willis, great-grandniece of George Washington. They're buried in that cemetery.
Here's a quick view of the basketball arena as we're heading our way towards something called Railroad Square, which we understand to be kind of an art district of the area.
This train depot was built in 1858. It's one of the oldest railroad buildings in Florida and one of only 3 surviving railroad depots in the state built prior to the Civil War. It served until 2005.
With that said, looks like it's time for another update.
So we stumbled upon the Railroad Square Arts District. It's situated between Florida State University and Florida A&M University. We're gonna have a big street art section this time. So Railroad Square is a 10-acre World War II era industrial warehouse park with more than 70 shops, galleries, and businesses. Railroad Square hosts First Friday every month. This gives you a chance to visit the galleries as well as listen to live music and sample delicious food. Railroad Square includes all kinds of local businesses: vintage and antique stores, art galleries, a nonprofit theater, a pinball arcade, a gaming shop, a cult cinema, the largest indoor rock climbing gym, and a specialty kayak shop.
And if you enjoy street art like we do, there'll be a section towards the end of the video.
So we were able to take a trail over to Lake Alberta and then get on the St. Mark's Historic Railroad State Trail. This is a 20-mile trail that runs from Tallahassee to the coastal town of St. Mark's.
And ahead there is Doak Campbell Stadium, the home of FSU football. Next is the street art section we promised, and then we'll be back to wrap this video up. All right, what did you think of Tallahassee?
Tallahassee is really interesting because besides being the capital of Florida, it's home to two pretty big universities, Florida State and Florida A&M, and they're awfully close together. So it makes it really interesting downtown. I liked it.
Yeah, if you watch our channel, you know we focus on the downtown. I have this like unsettled feeling like maybe we missed a lot of it. Or maybe it's just that the government buildings and the universities are what they consider downtown. I assure you we've walked many miles trying to find every cool little nook and cranny looking for the quintessential downtown experience. And although we did find some cool streets in the more government district, I kind of just think what defines downtown is the universities and the government stuff. So if I'm wrong, apologies, we'll come back and do it again. But with all that said, I really enjoyed this. It was a wonderful experience. Went even went to a basketball game, which was cool, and we'll probably be back because, you know, why not? There's plenty we haven't seen, and there's a football stadium right there we got to check out too. So I give it a thumbs up.
Me too.
All right, get off the couch and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.